Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really provocative idea that our digital lives are actually part of a story that's much older and maybe much darker than we think. We're drawing from the book The Costs of Connection to explore a new kind of colonization, one that's happening right now through our screens.
We all do it. We scroll, we click, we connect for hours every single day. But what if all those little taps and swipes are actually feeding something, well, something huge? A new kind of global power? That's really the big question we're tackling. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to start with the stuff that feels, well, completely normal. I'm talking about our simple, everyday digital habits. I mean, think about it. We see all this as just modern life, right? A fitness tracker to help us stay healthy, a social media app to keep up with friends. But the core argument in The Cost of Connection is that just under the surface of all this normality, there's a massive process of appropriation, a taking, if you will. So what exactly is this process? Well, this is where the central idea of the book really hits home. And honestly, it's a powerful one. They call it data colonialism. And the argument is pretty startling. It says this isn't some brand new, shiny digital revolution. Nope. It's actually a new phase of capitalism that's just using a very, very old playbook. The playbook of colonialism. And when you look at it, the parallels are kind of crazy, right? Historically, colonialism was about seizing land to get at raw materials, stuff like rubber or gold. Today, the new territory being seized, it's our life experience. The raw material isn't gold, it's our behavioral data. And the new rules, they're not handed down by some colonial governor. They're buried in those terms of service that, let's be honest, we all just scroll past and click agree on. And get this isn't some wild fringe theory. The people running the system are using this exact language themselves. When you hear powerful organizations calling our personal data the new oil, it tells you everything you need to know about the mindset here. It means our lives, our friendships, our habits, all of it is seen as just raw material, something to be dug up, refined, and sold. Okay, so if our data is the new oil, who are the new empires drilling for it?
Welcome to the Cloud Empire. And no, we're not talking about a single country with flags and borders. We're talking about a small handful of tech giants that basically control the entire global infrastructure, the servers, the cables, the platforms that our entire digital world runs on.
What's wild is that this cloud empire, it really acts like a new kind of government. Its territory isn't defined by geographic borders, but by the global flow of data. And its laws? Well, they're not passed by politicians. They are the terms of service and the algorithms that shape what we see and do online. It's a whole new type of sovereignty, one that pretty much operates outside the control of old-school nations.
And the engine room powering this whole empire? That's what the authors call the social quantification sector. I know, it's a mouthful, but it's basically all the companies whose entire reason for existing is to turn our social lives into numbers. Quantifying our friendships, our moods, our movements, all to create a product they can sell.
So, let's get to the heart of it. What's the real cost of being this connected? This is where it gets deeply personal, because it starts to threaten something fundamental, our own autonomy. The book puts it this way: the minimal integrity of the self is threatened. That sounds intense, right? But what does it really mean? It means that when every part of our lives is tracked and turned into a product, that core sense of a private whole self starts to crumble. I mean, think about it. Who are you, really, when a corporation knows more about your daily habits than you do yourself?
And it's not just personal. On a bigger scale, this leads to what the book calls a hollowing out of the social. Basically, when all our interactions happen on platforms that are designed to extract value from us, things like trust start to break down, relationships start to feel more like transactions, and real community gets replaced by whatever the algorithm recommends we look at next.
And here's how our autonomy gets chipped away. It's a step-by-step process. First, there's the constant surveillance from all our devices. Then, powerful algorithms use that data to build these incredibly detailed profiles of us. Step 3, those profiles are used to nudge our behavior. to shape what we see, what we buy, maybe even what we believe. And the end game? It's this quiet, steady erosion of our own free will. So you can see this is about so much more than just privacy, right? The real stakes are way higher. We're talking about our autonomy, our dignity, and yeah, even the foundations of a democratic society. The whole system becomes a risk to freedom when these hidden forces have the power to shape how millions of people think and act.
Okay, so after hearing all that, it's pretty easy to feel, well, a little hopeless, right? But the book doesn't just leave us there. The story isn't over. The big question is there another way? Can we actually find a different path? The proposed solution begins with something called a decolonial turn. Really, it's about a shift in how we think. It means we have to stop accepting the system as a fact of life. We have to challenge that core idea that our lives are just a resource up for grabs. And once we do that, we can start to imagine and build something different. And this isn't just wishful thinking. There are real, practical ways to push back. You've got technologists building tools that put privacy first. You have activists pushing for stronger laws. And really, all of us can make more conscious choices together about which platforms we're willing to support and which ones we're not. It's a fight that has to be fought on all fronts: legal, technological, and cultural. And that really brings us back to the central question, the one at the very heart of all this. If our data is so valuable, if it really is the new oil, then we have to ask ourselves, who should be in control of it, and who should be the one to profit from it? The answer we come up with, well, that could very well define what our future looks like.